Thank you for watching another episode of Dvar Malchus. This from the talks of Shabbos, Parshas Acharei-Kedoshim, from the 13th of ER 5751. We are on page 251 at the top. In connection with what was spoken lately regarding the true and complete redemption, which we wait for every day and we hope that it will come every day, as the ruling in Jewish law that when one makes an oath not to drink wine the day that Mashiach will come, he may never drink wine, literally immediately, and about the actions that every Jew needs to do to bring the redemption, it is befitting to stop and explain the content of the redemption, which makes it easier to understand the content of the work necessary to bring the redemption, how we need to prepare for the state of redemption. The content of everything is expressed in its name. Similar also regarding the redemption, we can gain comprehension of its content through thinking into the meaning of its name, Gula, redemption. The phenomenon of redemption is referred to in the Torah by different terms, beginning with the four terms for redemption in the verse, I will take out, and I will save, and I will redeem, and I will take out. And the fifth term, and I will bring, which although all the terms share the general content of going out of exile, nevertheless, there is a unique quality in term of Gula. And we may say this is because of the quality indeed of redemption, and especially the true and complete redemption is referred to by all the Jewish people by the name Gula. The obvious one, specifically the final Gula, is the true and complete Gula with the addition of the, and the Gula is the most fullest sense, being that this word, Gula, expresses the content of the true and complete redemption. In the word Gula, we see something wondrous. Gula, which is Hey, Lamed Vav, Aleph, Gimel, is the same. Sorry, I spelled that backwards. That's funny. All right, it's Gimel, Aleph, Vav, Lamed, Hey, Gula, because it's written backwards here because it's in English. Anyways, so Gula, Gimel, Gimel, Aleph, Vav, Lamed, Hey is the same letters as Gola, which is Gimel, Vav, Lamed, Hey. Exile, without the addition of the Aleph. As is stated in the Midrash, that in the word Gola, and Gola is its head, there are two meanings, two moras. One said Gola, a term for exile, and one said Gula, and there is a known expression of this, that in the addition of the Aleph, which through it Gola is turned into Gula, is the Aleph of Aluf, master of the world, which through the service of a Jew exiled to insert, draw forth, and reveal the Aleph of the Aluf, master of the world. In exile, Gola becomes Gula. And seemingly it's not understood. Redemption is the exact opposite of exile. So how is it possible that the word Gula includes in it the word Gola, exile? And furthermore, Gula is comprised of and is made specifically from the word Gola, to the extent that most of the letters of Gula are actually Gola. And the addition is only comprised of one letter, Aleph, and also the Rosh Hativa abbreviation of Gula remains Gimel of Gula. And may we say the explanation of this, Gula does not mean upon leaving exile we are behind the life and achievements and the world that was previously in exile. On the contrary, Gula means that the existence that was previously imprisoned in the exile is not nullified, however, but rather redeemed. And the innovation and completeness of the true and complete redemption is that everything is redeemed, no matter remains lost, heaven forbid, in exile. We will not leave anything in exile, even those who have gone astray, and those who are lost, which are called this in the Torah of the truth, will be redeemed. The redemption will be a true and complete redemption in the quality of all matters, both the all embracing technical situation here. Both the all-embracing which we call the Torah of truth will be redeemed. The redemption will be a true and complete redemption in quality of all quantity and quality of all matters, both all-embracing aspect of them, as well as the minutest detail of every Jew and all the Jews, with our young and our old, with our sons and with our daughters, as well as their portions in the world, their silver and with their gold with them, together with their accomplishment and achievements in exile. The redemption will redeem every person and all people, also all the nations of the world and all matters of the world, and every person individually with all his matters. All positive things in exile will continue to remain. Only their exile state will cease. The concealment will cease, which hides the true and deeper existence of them, including the enslavement to which to the ways of nature and physicality of the world which comes from this. And as the Rambam rules, one should think that the days of Mashiach, anything from the regular conduct of the world will stop, or that there will be a change in the way the world was created. Rather, the world will continue in its regular conduct. Our sages say there is no difference between the present era of the days of Mashiach, aside for the servitude to the nations. The innovation will then be that they will return to the true religion, and he, Mashiach, will correct the whole world to serve Hashem as one, as the verse says, for then I will transform the nations to have a clear tongue to all call out to the name of Hashem and serve him as one. Based on this, it's understood why the word Gula includes the word Gola. However, the additional of an aleph, the redemption, does not nullify the service in exile. On the contrary, the content of the redemption is elevating the life in Gula, making the through redeeming all matters of exile and making Gula from it itself through revealing aleph of Aluf, master of the world. In all matters of Gola, we remove the concealment in the matters of the exile which hide over their true existence and purpose. We reveal the master of the world that is in it, the purpose of all matters of exile which Hashem created them, such that from Gola becomes Gula. Gula is the revelation of the aleph, the aleph of the master of the world. In Gola, the revelation of the true and deeper aspect of all matters of the exile and all accomplishments in the time of exile, and the revelation of godliness in all the matters of the world, how they are all revealed in honor of Hashem. Which every single thing that Hashem created in this world, in his world, he only created for his honor of the master of the world. And the above spoken is an explanation of how Gola includes Gola in it, since the intention is that Gola shall elevate also the exile. However, we need an explanation. Why is it elevating of exile, since an essential matter in the redemption to the content, to the extent that the compromises the name Gola with the addition of the aleph, which in name expresses the content of the essence of the matter. Furthermore, the innovation of the redemption is not only the elevating of the matter of the exile and the matter of the world, rather in the redemption in the second era after the first era, regarding which the Rambam mentioned after, is speaking about how we'll accomplish new matters of changes in the regular conduct of the world, including the essential and fundamental aspects of the resurrection of the dead, which is an innovation in the work of creation. Indeed, how is it possible that in the entire state of the time to come, also which is above and beyond the world in exile, in the second era is called by the name Gola, with the addition of an aleph? From this, it's understood that the whole Gula From this, it's understood that the whole Gula, also the high matters that are in it, is connected to the service of inserting the aleph to the aluf, master of the world, and Gola, to the degree that makes Gola. Just as the word Gula is made up of letters Gola with the addition of the aleph, and all matters of Gola or Gula are drawn forth from elevating Gola, as we shall explain. The explanation of this is we understood based on the first Mishnah in today's chapter, the third chapter of Pirkei Avos. Look at the three things you shall not come to sin. And after this, the Mishnah continues enumerating the three things known from where you come from and where you are going and before whom you are destined to give an accounting. The question arises, why is it necessary to tell us how many there are? Why is it significant here that the number three things? And even if the number is significant, why does the Mishnah have to state this? Every person can certainly count himself in the continuation of the Mishnah that he is enumerating three things. And we must say of the explanation of this, the words of the Mishnah, look at three things, which is the wording of the Mishnah is concise and includes many things. Does not only mean the three things which are enumerated further in the Mishnah, rather also the idea of three things. In general, the Mishnah is giving an instruction. Look at three things. A person must histakel. You look intently at three things, and through this you will not come to sin. A person could think that for him there needs to be only two matters, he himself and Hashem, so to say, who he serves. I was created to serve my Creator. The Mishnah says look at three things. A person must look intently and see that there are three things in addition to his own existence, I, and the existence of Hashem, my Creator. So to say, there's a third thing, the entity of the world which Hashem created, and through which a Jew serves his Creator. The purpose of the creation of the world and the descent of the soul below in a physical body is in a low world which there is no lower than it, in order to fulfill the intention of Hashem, desire to have for himself, blessed be he, a dwelling in the lowest realms, that a Jew through his service should refine his body and bodily soul and physicality of the world and make out it a dwelling for Hashem, which he accomplishes through his service in a body in this world, in fulfillment of Torah mitzvahs, which most mitzvahs are vested in physical things. And through fulfilling a mitzvah with a physical thing, we refine the physical thing and make it a vessel for godliness. As through the mitzvahs of tzedakah, which is equal to all the mitzvahs. The main one is the action of the main one of the action of mitzvahs that stands on and over all of them. That is, the Jew takes the efforts of his hands from the physical money that he made and he gives the livelihood of Hashem. And similarly regarding all mitzvahs. And the third matter, look at three things. To make a dwelling in the lowest realm is not a side matter, rather on the contrary, this is a key factor in the completeness of both, so to say, Hashem and the person that is doing the service, since Hashem desired to have for himself a dwelling in the lowest realms, and this is the essence of the person and the purpose of the creation, that his descent to this world, so that Hashem will have a dwelling in the lowest realms. And such a great degree that is important to the person, he should look at three things: that because of Hashem made the descent of the soul below, notwithstanding the great virtue of the soul above, the soul that you put in me is pure, where there is no place for the opposite of purity. Hashem sent down, you created it, you formed it, you blew it in me, including into also the physical world of Asiya, action, where there is life and good, and also other options of opposite of pure, to the degree that the soul needs to be guarded. And you guarded in me in order to fulfill the intention of making a dwelling in the lowest realms. For seemingly the descent of the soul in a body is the opposite of the conduct of Hashem, who is the source and ultimate good and kindness, and the nature of the good is to do good. And from the perspective of kindness and good, there should be seemingly ascent constantly. Yet here Hashem takes the soul and brings it down, a great descent, and is a sense, in a literal sense, in a literal exile, from a high roof to a deep pit. From this it's understood that the great advantage and kindness of the service of the making of a dwelling in the lowest realms, that this is for a worthwhile to send the soul below, not for the soul itself, for the soul itself does not see any need fixing at all, rather to fix the body and the animal soul and his portion in the world, in order to make a dwelling for the lowest realm, since through the descent of the service of the soul below to make a dwelling of the lowest realm, an even higher matter is accomplished than the service of the soul itself above, the revelation of the essence of Hashem in the lowest realm, to the extent that the advantage is drawn and brought about also to the soul that is descended below, that in addition to the fact that the soul reaches a higher level, higher than the place from where it descends, the revelation of the strength of the soul also gains a relation to the revelation of the essence of Hashem, which is accomplished through the service of the soul below in making the dwelling in the lowest realms. Based on this, it's also understood that the instruction of the Mishnah look at three things, notwithstanding the great virtue of the soul of a Jew, a part of Hashem from above. Literally, his service needs to be in a dwelling to him, making himself a dwelling for Hashem through revealing his soul in this physical body, a virtue and a soul which comes out through this. He should also look at three things and makes a dwelling for Hashem in the lowest realms of the world, that the world itself becomes a dwelling for Hashem, and through this the person himself also reaches his perfection, since this is the essence of man, the purpose of his creation. And although this is a descent for him apparently and temporarily, yet specifically through this the elevation of himself is accomplished, that you will not come to sin. Through this service, through his service of making a dwelling in the lowest realms, you look at three things. Indeed, you will not come to sin, not even come to the possibility to do a sin. Based on what is above, we will also understand the content of Gula, being the letters of Gola, with the addition of an aleph. Gula is not eliminating Gola, rather it includes Gola. Moreover, it elevates Gola through inserting and revealing it in the aleph, master of the world, since the intention is to make a dwelling for Hashem in the lowest realm, including as the lowest realms are in exile, to reveal the master of the world, the lowest realms in their state as they are in a state of exile. Moreover, this is the content and the essence of the redemption, also the matters of the redemption that are above the world and the exile. The change of the conduct of the world, of the resurrection of the dead, the revelation of the infinite light of Hashem in this physical world, to the degree that it becomes a dwelling for himself. Blessed be he in the lowest realm for himself, for his essence. And therefore the phenomenon of the redemption is dependent on our deeds and our service and the entire duration of the exile. Gola is the service of inserting aleph, aloof, the master of the world in Gola, to the extent that this Gula is made most of the letters and initials of the letter of the word Gula is Gola. In other words, in addition to the fact that the great ascent of the Gola comes through the descent in exile, similar to the revelation of the strength of light to the soul through its descent below, Gula is made up of Gola, with the addition of the Aleph itself, and the dwelling of his essence is accomplished to the lowest realms themselves, similar to the advantage which is accomplished in the soul through the dwelling in the lowest realms. And the above explained is even more emphasized in the present time of year, the day of the Sefriot, and within them themselves the 4 Shabboses of the 7 complete weeks, kingship that is in victory, and the Parsha of the week, Acharei-Kedoshim, that the Parsha that we begin reading in the Mincha prayer, the Parsha of Emor, and the 13th of Iyar, the service of continuing the Omar, and the refinement of the 7 attributes of the animal soul, the main service in the present time and this time of exile is comprised of that in addition to, and I will become pure and become holy with the holiness of above. Through this, it's accomplished in the world and in all worlds. And through this, the abundant flow will be given in all worlds. And through this, the soul of the person doing the service gains even more. As we continue in the prayer after an abundant flow, we will be given all the worlds to correct our souls from any blemishes and make us pure, holy with your high holiness. Similar to you will not come to sin, the fixing and elevation of the person, the service in the world, and through the service of the counting of the Omar, inserting the Aleph and Gola, through the refinement of the 7 attributes, we bring the redemption to return to the service of the Beis Hamikdash to its place very soon in our days of Mein Salah, as we say in the Rachaman after the Bracha, in the days of the Sefriot themselves, which divide into the general 7 complete weeks, and especially this year in which we begin to count the day following Shabbos in the most simple sense. This is even more emphasized in the 4th Shabbos, when we complete the Sefriot of the attribute of Netzach, including its completeness, kingship that is in victory, after the finishing of the attribute of kindness to the degree of kingship that is in kindness, and that attribute of severity to the degree of kingship that is within severity, and the attribute of splendor to the degree of kingship that is within splendor, and the victory over the concealment of the exile to the degree of victory that is within victory, and the splendor that is within victory, and the niceness in the victory, and the fundamentality that is within victory, and the fundamentality that is permissed of victory, including the kingship that is within victory, the victory of the King Mashiach that is the true and complete Redeemer. The beginning of the Parshas Acharei speaks about the service of the high priest, the Holy of Holies. With this, Aaron will come to the holy. A taste and something similar to the state of the redemption is the high priest, the Holy of Holies. The Holy of Holies is the holiest place in the world, a place where godliness shined in a revealed way without any concealments. Together with this, it was a physical place in this world, and the high priest went into it as a soul and a body, not as it was regarding Nadav and Avi, who ran to ascent above without descending below. Something similar to this was true for every Kohen, which together with the fact that the Kohens were separated, as the verse says, and he separated Aaron to sanctify him, Holy of Holies above the world. He did this service specifically as a soul and a body in the world, a world where there is a room for opposite of purity, and specifically there he fulfills the command in the beginning of the Parsha Emor. Say to the Kohens, the children of Aaron, and say to them, a soul, a person who passed away, you should not become impure in his nation, which is the completeness of the phenomenon of the purity, which will be at the true and complete redemption, a form of preparation for this. There is also the time of exile. The Kohens are careful from matters of impurity, and we may say that this is also the preparation of the completeness of purity in the time to come, including through say, and you shall say, to warn the grown-ups regarding the children. In addition to being careful to warn from the opposite of purity, a Kohen has to do this service in the Beis Hamikdash, holiness, wearing the priestly garments which were for honoring this and splendor, completeness in the physical sense. And based on this, we may explain why a Kohen that serves deficient in his clothes, his service is invalid. Where their clothes are on them, their priesthood is on them. When their clothes are not on them, their priesthood is not on them. Even though the content of the priestly garments were mainly for honor and for splendor, which this is seemingly not so vital in the actual service, only the completeness of the service in the Mishkan is at the height of completeness, the gorgeousness for the honor and splendor, also physicality in the simple sense, in the nicest and most honorable matter in all, including in the physicality of the world. We utilize all possibility of this world for the service in holiness. And in the complete day, the phenomenon of the priesthood for the high priest who wore 8 clothes, and based on this, Maybe we can say that the reason why the high priest may be greater than his brothers in wealth, since the ultimate holiness of a high priest is connected with the fact that this is drawn with the completeness in everything, including the physicality of the world, wealth. And based on what is explained in the Midrash on the verse with Aaron, with this Aaron will come every time that the high priest wants to enter, he can enter, and only he should enter with this order. With this, we may say that the true place of the holy priest is on a level of Holy of Holies, so we will be openly revealed in a true and complete redemption when there will be the completeness of the person in the world and the nullifying of the undesirable matters, whereas before this we are not a reciprocal for this every time, which there will be a completeness of the revelation of the drawing of the holiness below in the third base of Mikdash, a dwelling for Hashem in the lowest realms as explained above. Just as regarding all aspects of Torah and idiom of Ha'orah instruction, there is an introduction in this also for every Jew. All Jews are a kingdom of Cohens, high priests, and in an openly revealed and complete way, this will be the true and complete redemption. And automatically, every Jew has a relation as a soul and a body to the holiness of the Holy of Holies, the ultimate holiness. And in the ruling of the Rambam, not only the tribe of Levi, rather every single person that has spirit bequeath him. Indeed, he is sanctified, Holy of Holies. And based on the above mentioned midrash, that every time he wants to enter, he can. We may say that every Jew has the ability, as in present time, as in the present below, as a soul and a body, to be on the level of Holy of Holies, and we may say that this will be actually in time to come. And this will be better appreciated based on the episode in the prophets, that at the time of danger, Yeshua hid Hoash, who was from the kingly family, and his attendant in the bedroom and in the second floor of the Holy Holies, and he was in the house of the Hashem hiding for 6 years with her, which from this it's understood that being in the Holy Holies, he has all his physical needs, eating and drinking and sleeping. And we say that since in truth, in essence, the place of every Jew is in the Holy of Holies, as will be revealed in the true complete redemption, only that this was revealed in actuality through the ascent, a danger similar to how the advantage of the redemption comes through the service of exile. Kedoshim, the Parsha which we read today, together with Parshas Acharei, you should be holy, for I am holy. Being a soul and a body in this physical world, which there is the command of you should be holy, you should remove from, is applicable. A Jew is in a state of holiness, including the highest holiness of Hashem. In the explanation of the Hasidic teachings of the exposition of the sages, possibly like me in the verse, for I am holy, possible like me, as a statement only on the level of holiness as of I am holy. And when we connect this also with the name of those Yurtzeit, who is on the 13th of Iyar, Yisrael Aryeh Lieb, and by way of preference, that although this is seemingly a name of a person who is not central figure yet, this has a connection to all the Jewish people, since the Jewish people are all one existence, one complete edifice, and especially that his first name is Yisrael, the general name of every Jewish person. Every Jew and all the Jewish people is known. Also the soul of Yaakov, whose name is Yisrael, includes in the soul of the Jewish people at all times. In the accordance with the known instruction of the Rebbe, Rashab, Nishmos, Eden, that matters of godly service can be connected to the world of Tanya. It is permitted to speak and elaborate on them, even though there is a step of caution saying explanation in the book of Tanya. Indeed, similarly is understood in our case. It's worthwhile and correct to explain the instruction from the name of the one Yurtzeit it is, when it can add in fear of heaven and service of Hashem. Yisrael, the general name of the Jewish people, as mentioned above, as it's two matters which are seemingly opposite. Yisrael is the acronym for Yesh, Shishim, Rabbi Sai, Rabbi Yosef, La Torah. There are 600,000 letters in the Torah. Since there are 600,000 letters, 600,000 general souls of the Jewish people, and each one of them is divided into 600,000 specific souls, and every soul corresponds to one letter of 600,000 letters of the Torah, and the letter is the source of vitality. And Yisrael is named so for you fought with an angel and your people, and you succeeded. The aspect of you fought with an angel and people and you succeeded alludes to the service of the war against the world with Elohim and the ministering Esav and the people Esav and Lav, in which this is seemingly exact opposite of the fact that Yisrael is an acronym of there are 600,000 letters in the Torah, as souls of the Jewish people are connected to the Torah that is above the world. And when we say the explanation of this is the service of Hashem, first and foremost, every Jew must know that he is Yisrael. His source and root of his vitality is from the letter in the Torah, and therefore everything that he does must be based in accordance with the instruction of the Torah. Along with this, he must know that the completeness of this service, of his service as Yisrael, and expressed in him not removing himself from the world around him. Rather, look at three things. In addition to the service with himself, Yisrael connected to his letter in the Torah, he must do his service of making a dwelling for Hashem in the lowest realms as a Yisrael, through going out together with the instruction of the Torah into the world and be occupied with Elohim, angel, the natural power of the in the world. As the words of our sages, every single grass has a mazel in it, and heaven has hit it and says to it grow. And the people, Esav and Lav, and the nations of the world, they are there to make a dwelling for Hashem according to the instruction of the Torah. Of there are 600,000 letters in the Torah. Through fighting, overcome with angel people, he is a Sar, ruler over the world and the nations of the world. And in the matter of, and you succeed, an idiom of Kol, all, and Kalulu, out including, and Khalil, finishing off, that the service is not through nullifying the existence of the world or overpowering over the world against its will, rather in a manner that he utilizes the natural power themselves in the service of Hashem, and influences also the nations of the world that they, from their own initiative, should serve Hashem in a matter of they willingly accept upon themselves his kingship, to the extent that the world itself says, and you succeeded, the world itself helps out in his service. And through this there will be an idiom of Kol, that we have the master, that we have all the matters of the world, an idiom that the world, the Jew includes in him, the idiom of Hishkadalas, that the Jew includes in him all matters of the world, and he elevates them to the degree that the phenomena of Gula, which includes Gola, is accomplished through drawing the Aleph of the master of the world in Gola. And through this, the service of the refinement of the world, there will be also an idiom of capability, that the Jew gains even more capability, as explained in the number of places. And through the service of godly soul, it is clothed in a body. An animal soul does not have the service in the world. He gains more power, vitality, and new capability due to the fact that there is much wheat in the power of the ox, of the animal soul. And in the way that we do the service of Yisrael through Aryeh, you should be mighty like a lion to do the will of your Father in heaven. It is said the first and foremost statement of the Shulchan Aruch overpowers all the concealments of the world. In addition to success in the service of matters of holiness, Aryeh lion in the holy tongue, he has the success in the service in And by way of reference, Yisrael Aryeh Leib of Al Shalom is the Rebbe's brother, who he was speaking of, whose yahrzeit is on the 13th of Iyar. Permitted and mundane, the service of the matters of the world. Leib, lion in a foreign language, and to add that Leib is also the letters Lev, heart, with a yud in the middle, which hints to the heart of a person, Lev, and the 10 soul powers, yud 10, that more specifically we sometimes write Lev with 2 yuds corresponding to the 2 levels of the soul, Yaakov and Yisrael. Since the service of Yisrael is making a dwelling in the lowest realms is done through the 10 soul powers, as they are surrounded with the heart of the person, which the heart of the Jew is always complete. I am asleep and my heart is awake. And also we may say that the Lev, which surrounds Yud, are the 3 garments of thought, speech, and action, which envelope the 10 soul powers and bring about in the service of a person actuality below. And when we connect this is also the day of the 13th of Iyar, the 13th in numerical value of Echad 1, which alludes to the service of accomplishment, that Hashem will be king over the whole earth, and that day Hashem will be one and his name will be one. The revelation of the kingship and unity of Hashem in the world, including in a matter of kingship that is within victory, as explained above. Based on the above spoken, we have a number of lessons regarding the service of the Jewish people to bring the redemption, and how must we prepare for the redemption presently, literally in the end time of exile, Gola, and bring very near the redemption. Before all, we have an answer to those who are wondering and are afraid of the fact that we are making a Talmud that every Jew must put effort and accomplish that the redemption should come literally in meeting and being loud people, that they express their wonder and worry in speech when Mashiach will shortly come, what will be, and they ask with their accomplishments and they think and things that they achieved for some nice amount of years in exile, the businesses they built, the wealth and possessions they accumulated, the friends and connections both among Jewish people as well among the nations of the world, which they attained, especially community activists, and more like this. The answer is that there is not what to be afraid of, since Gula does not mean that all the conduct of the world is nullified. The good things that were accomplished according to Torah and exile, on the contrary, Gula includes it in the good matters of Gola, as such that they are elevated to a state of Gula, to the true virtue and completeness through us revealed in them, the Aleph, the Aloof, Master of the world, the true intention and purpose of these achievements that are in the time of exile, how this is all revealed, the honor of Hashem. And therefore one has not what to worry about achievements and permitted matters that one accomplished according to Torah in the time of exile. And on the contrary from this, we have the instruction that every businessman and the like must look for ways in how to reveal the honor of Hashem in his business matters and utilize his businesses and possessions and connections to add in Torah mitzvahs. From this, it's also understood that the instruction of the other side for this who think that the content of the service of Gula is to have nothing to do with the eliminating the normal conduct of the world. Indeed, on the contrary, the redemption is dependent specifically on our deeds and service in the time of exile, and therefore there must look at three things. The content of the service to bring the redemption has to be with fighting with angels and men and succeeding to make a dwelling in the lowest realm and prepare the world for redemption, true in a way of fighting with angels and men, waging a war with the concealment of the world, however in a manner of willingly they will accept his kingship upon them. Being with this portion of the world through adding in the fulfillment of mitzvah, the physical objects, including and especially the mitzvah of tzedakah, the main one of the action mitzvahs that will take place from his physical matters and his wealth, which Hashem, blessed be he, and helps others, that others should also have food and clothes in a matter of for honor and splendor befitting a kingdom of Kohens, and likewise he helps out Torah and tzedakah institutions and the like. And similarly, also in his service in permitted matters, he does it in the matter of all your deeds for the sake of heaven, and in all your ways make known to him. Moreover, and this is also the main thing through spreading Torah and Judaism and spreading the wellsprings of Hasidim outward, including and especially to arouse Jewish people in the entire world, that they should add even more in Torah study and fulfill the mitzvahs, and also to publicize the reveal the Master of the world in the entire world, including through having influence on the nations of the world regarding the fulfillment of the 7 mitzvahs for the children of Noach, and prepare them for, and the kingship will be for Hashem. Based on the above, that Gula elevates all matters from exile themselves through making for themselves a dwelling in the lowest realms, to the degree that specifically the service in exile brings the redemption. It is understood that the matters of the world itself and the nation and the world themselves also in the time of exile are in truth assisting in the service of bringing the redemption as discussed above. And when we say that the standing of the end of time of exile close to redemption, this assistance is more evident, as we see especially in the recent generation, even more in the recent time, and especially in literally the recent days. In the generations before this, most Jews lived in countries that had block and obstructions. This should not happen again. The service of Hashem, whereas in the recent generation, most Jewish people live in countries where a kind of government rules, beginning with this country in which is found, and the majority, the main structure of the Jewish people, which assists the Jewish people in reaching an inner redemption in their service, including that they should do the service which brings redemption in a simple sense. And then the kind of government will also help the Jewish people to return to Eretz Yisrael, in the words of your verse, that they will bring all your brothers. And in the recent years, we see how the conduct of the Jewish people spreads in more countries, including also in that country where they were until recently limitations regarding the freedom of the Jewish people in the service of the Torah and mitzvahs, and also regarding their leaving that country, that their conduct turned around completely and they allowed Jewish people to leave from there without the limitations of the past. Moreover, that they are even assisting the Jewish people to go to the Holy Land, a taste of the preparation for the assistance of the nation of the world, that the Jewish people should leave exile and go to Eretz Yisrael in the true and complete redemption. In addition to the direct assistance of the nation of the world to to the Jewish people. There are also matters in which we see how the nations of the world themselves do actions of good and kindness, which reveals even more how there is a boss of this fortress. A preparation for the kingship will be for Hashem and the true and complete redemption. Not as it was in the past, that specifically the Jewish nation, which although you are all minority among the nations, complete in the actuality, the intention of the dwelling for Hashem in the lowest realms. And in few in the kingdom of nations, the world were acting in a cruel way to one another, and were mainly occupied in their own gain or in conquering other countries or the like. And among the true recent clear developments that we see how the world and nations of the world prepare for and assist in the way to redemption through the aspects of tzedakah and education, two core foundations of a settled world. It was created to be settled. Among the true recent clear developments where we see how the world and nations of the world prepare for and assist in the way to redemption through the aspects of tzedakah and education, two core foundations of a settled world. It was created to be settled. It is known and publicized in all the newspapers about the events in recent days that this country, which is founded on tzedakah and kindness, as known, utilizes its strong powers to help and save people in distant place in the world far away from this country, although that through this, there is no direct gain to the population of this country. This country sent a great number of people and soldiers of its army to help the refugees in those places, together with food and clothing and medicine. Instead of using their airplanes in matters of conquering, and instead of using the food and clothing for citizens of this country, they are using them to save ill-fated people, and especially small children, from cold, including from the opposite of life, which with this we see the mercy of the citizens of this country when they heard and saw how people are suffering, although they are not relatives and they have never had a connection with any of them. Nevertheless, this country was aroused to help them, befitting the view of this country in the matter of tzedakah, that we help people in the entire world, and we do not even wait that they ask for help. And similarly, it is known that in the recent days, and leaders of this country came out with an announcement and specific instruction regarding education of the youth, in accordance with what is announced in the beginning of this presidency, that his aim is to remember as a education president do the action and changes for the good which he will launch to strengthen the education in this country. The novelty in the recent developments, among others, is understood simply, although for the Jewish people this is nothing new, since they were always acting in accordance to Torah and mitzvahs in matters of tzedakah and education. Indeed, this reveals even more that there is a boss of the fortress, which this is the true foundation for tzedakah and education, and has spoken many times that there is a true success in education is dependent on a child's knowing the recognition of the creator of the world and its conductor. Recognizing the creator of the world and its conductor, and all this is in addition to more things that happen by divine providence every day, both for the people at large as well as for every person in his own matters. And the intention is that this should further reveal how the world helps to make a dwelling for Hashem in the lowest realms and bring redemption, including the fact that in the past week they found precious stones and diamonds in a far-flung place in the world by the blessing of Hashem, similar to, and the Nissim brought the Shoham stones and setting stones for the ephod, and the chosanin and the chosen for the priestly garments, that the clouds brought them. And the intention in this is that it is used for jewelry for brides to add in tzedakah, as mentioned above. The conclusion of the above spoken regarding action. The redemption comes specifically through the service in exile of revealing the master of the world in Gola, as such that this generation, the last generation exile, will be the first generation of redemption. And Hashem helps that we see in recent events in the world how the world itself is helping and leading to the redemption. And simply this means, as explained above, that every Jew has to add in our deeds and our service in general, which brings the redemption, including, especially as spoken the previous Hasidic gatherings, in Torah study on the topics of redemption, in the writing in Torah, which all the books are full in this matter, and the oral Torah, the Mishnah, and the Talmud, and the Midrashes, etc. And in this itself, we need to add, in accordance with the instruction of Pesach Sheni, that there is never anything lost, to make a righteous accounting, whether one corrected and made up for the service in the past, or one can do everything more in this. And regarding this, we have the instruction and empowerment that even if there was something lacking, there is nothing lost, and we can always correct it. Furthermore, and mainly, that all matters that seem as though they are lost should be revealed and corrected. Moreover, even if they are actually lost in exile, including lost in a good sense, being above and beyond the confines of revelation, the revelation of the Keats, which is in the heart and not revealed in speech, the Mashiach who comes unexpectedly as a find, as the verse says, I found David my servant in Psalm 89 in Tehillim, and this becomes revealed in Psalm Tzaddik 90. May the pleasantness of Hashem be upon us and establish for us the work of our hands, and establish the work of our hands in the third Beis Hamikdash, in the true and complete redemption, the redemption for all the Jewish people, for our young and with our old, and with our sons and our daughters, mamish, immediately. Thank you for watching. Zyga Bench. Good Erev Shabbos.